Hello, this is the first official broadcast from our camper. We have moved in, we have turned over keys to our house, we are just getting used to things, trying to get everything organized. Organizing is essential and yet a crazy task all at once. So we have had an interesting, so we've been here now, Wednesday will be 2 weeks. That's crazy to even say. The first week kind of flew by and we could barely walk in the camper because stuff. We have a lot of stuff. So the weekend was interesting because we definitely broke in the sickness bug here, as Alea got some type of stomach bug and definitely spent all of Saturday night throwing up. So we used our doTERRA cleaners. We have the On Guard cleaner, and it did an amazing job of cleaning up. We disinfected everything. We wiped down everything with it, and so far no one else has gotten sick. So that's pretty exciting, as we made a very conscious decision to not bring chemicals into the camper and just to live using essential oils, natural products, just as another part of our growth and transformation of our lifestyle. I'm excited because we've been diffusing and it smells great in here, and what appears to be a nasty little stomach bug only affected one person. And yes, we all ate the same thing, so I don't think it was anything like that. And so that's been a fun little tidbit, even though it came out of total nastiness because it was gross. But it cleaned well and made everything smell great, and we're all healthy and fine now. So, but backing up, moving was insane. So you like pack and think you're going through things, and you go through things and you go through things, and you're like, okay, this stuff's going to storage. You know, we have our little 10 by 15 storage. Everyone's like, oh, that's pretty big. Okay, but think about this. 10 by 15, it's got a king size bed, box springs. It's got a queen size bed, box spring. It's got a twin bed, box spring. It has, I think there's one more bed in there. A washer and dryer in it. It has one dresser, our 2 TVs, and a few tubs of like memorabilia. But we got rid of tons and tons and tons of clothes. Tons and tons and tons of stuff for the kitchen. Oh, and my KitchenAid, because, well, you don't get rid of your KitchenAid. And so, you know, it's big stuff that we kept just so that if and when we decide to land again, we're not left with the floor to sleep on. So David hurt his back the day we were supposed to move most of the stuff. So we had the truck for a few days, and we loaded up like half the U-Haul. And we were finishing going through these other rooms and loading stuff up, and he was bringing down a mattress from upstairs and tweaked his back. Terrible timing, but when your back hurts, and he suffered through it and manned up and worked hard, but he was in pain. So I told him, I said, go back to the camper, rest, because I'm going to need you to be able to unload this. Well, my friend, my little BFF, came through like a she-woman, and her and I brought down from upstairs dressers and beds. And, I mean, you should have seen us two hauling down a queen-size mattress over the stairs. So our house had had 3 stairs up, a landing, and then like 15 stairs up to the top, and then a big banister at the top. And so we had to take this huge mattress and drop it over the top, and the other one of us catch it on the landing at the bottom, and then we had to like angle it through. We're both 5'4" or under. Okay, so it was very funny. I'm sure if you could have recorded this, it would have been hysterical, because we're like, okay, you got it. And so we drop this mattress down, and we load all this stuff up in the trailer. So we just like She-Ra powered through and loaded up the entire to the brim U-Haul. And so we were like, well, I guess we just need to unload the U-Haul, because why not, right? We're like on this like She-Ra power trip. So her and I go over and we unload everything. So even the stuff David had hurt his back hauling the king-size mattress, which we have an alcove hybrid mattress. So it's foam, it's springs, it's heavy. Like, I cannot move the thing by myself. Heavy. And we're like, well, we got to get it in. So her and I hoofed this thing off, and we're like, okay, we're going to push this. So we had them in bed bags, so it's fine. You know, like, we're going to push this down the hallway, because we have a climate-controlled storage so that our pictures and stuff that we stored don't get ruined. So we're like pushing this down the hallway, and we're like going, we're like, yes, we're making great traction, we're going. And we ram into the side wall and like bounce off. We've both had 3 kids. We like almost pee our pants laughing on the floor so hard, because we have just like, the mattress just beat the crap out of us. There we lay, but it was such a great comic relief. And like, I am so glad that I have her in my corner, and that she and I could just like get this thing unloaded. So I was able to call David and be like, oh yeah, well, we unloaded the whole U-Haul. But what that did was he was able to get some rest, and we were able to start fresh in the morning. So we had to make one more trip. But the first thing I did is I went up before the kids were up, and I loaded up the entire U-Haul. So this was a 15-foot U-Haul, and it was like not loaded tall, but like, you know, like bags of clothes and stuff like that. So I went up and I loaded up all of the donate stuff, and went and took it to Angel's Attic to donate. Now, I had previously called them, and they couldn't get a truck out to me, but I was like, you know, I'm going to have the U-Haul. If I bring it to you, will you take all the stuff? Because I'm not trying to, like, have you sort through stuff. Like, it's name brand clothes. It's nice toys. Everything that was trash, I threw away. And the guy was like, yes, we'll absolutely take it. I had, like, office supplies, like paper and, like, clear plastic sleeves and just, you know, just stuff that, and he was like, yeah, we supply Sci-Fair ISD with paper and stuff, and yes, we'll take it all. So I load all this stuff up by myself, and I drive over to Angel's Attic where I was told to bring it, and I get there, and a different guy is there, and he's like, oh, I'm going to pass on everything. And I was like, excuse me? So at this point, I'm exhausted. I've been working really hard. And I'm just like, I lost my marbles. I started ugly crying. And I got in my car and in the U-Haul. And I called the number that the guy had called me from. And he answered. I got in touch with him. His secretary answered the phone and got me to him. And he was like, I am so sorry. I will come out. So he came out and met me. And he made them take all the stuff. And, like, at that point, I was so conflicted. Like, I need to get rid of this stuff. But, like, this is my stuff. And this was really, really hard for me to, like, even do, right? So, like, getting rid of a bag of clothes here and there is one thing. Getting rid of half of your belongings that you're just dropping off a donation. There's so much emotion connected to those. And maybe that's not how it should be, but that's how it was for me. My story is that was really, really hard. And so I ugly cried. This was the same day that was my son's last day of school. So I just had a lot of ugly cry tears that day. So I dropped it off. They finally took everything. He gave me a big hug to try to calm me down. He was probably like, oh my God, who's this crazy woman? But whatever. Gave me my tax receipt. I was on my merry way. I went back to the house and started loading the next load. And then David came and helped me. And we put all the kids to work. And I'll tag in a little video of them working. Like, Katara wanted to be the biggest helper of all. You know, she can carry like something that's like a pound. So, you know, we had to find little things for her to carry. But she wanted to help. And that was so important because it's such a process of being like everybody helping, everybody contributing to what we're doing and feeling like this is like us all doing this, not just not me or David making decisions, but everybody was included. So, that was, you know, that was interesting. And then, our son's last day of school came and he had a party and he was so excited. And the last 2 days we actually stayed at the camper because we'd moved everything into storage. So we were driving back and forth from Katy up to Cyprus so that he could like finish his last 2 days. And they had like themes every day and he was so excited. And he adores his teacher. We had an amazing experience at Farney. Miss Edmonston is a fresh teacher. She's just a couple years out of school and she's incredible. And she took this little boy who didn't like reading. He read, but he didn't like it. He wanted to do math and science, which is awesome. And we love that he loves math and science, but reading is pivotal and very important, obviously, for your continuing education. And we wanted him to love it, and he didn't. And something clicked, and she took this little boy who was behind the entire year in his, you know, letters. They're supposed to be at like a G or K or whatever they're supposed to exit at. And he had been behind like 1 or 2, like he entered a little bit behind. Like he just wasn't ever a great reader. And she took this little boy and I can't pry the books out of his hands. He has like chapter books. Like with the second she told him he was far enough to get a chapter book, he's got this like big old chapter book and it's just thriving. I mean, he got in trouble at school for taking it to recess because he just wanted to keep reading. Like, they were like, oh, reading's a time that happens in the school. Recess is a time for friends. And I was just like, a victory. I don't even care that you just got upset with him. I mean, I care, but like, oh my God, he loves reading. And so he's got these big chapter books and he totes them everywhere with him and he has little bookmarks and I could not thank this woman enough. Like, he's doing something that I honestly, when he entered first grade, did not know if we would ever be a reader. So thank you, Miss Edmonston. If you're following this, I hope you are. Like, you did amazing things with my kid, and I can't thank you enough for that. And she, her and I had to have a few little tears like that day because, like, how do you can't buy someone enough. You can't express enough, like, the pure gratitude when someone changes the trajectory of what you thought was going to be, that is impactful in your kid's entire future. And that is what she did for our son. And so then it was like down to the last things, right? So we had to get the last few things over to storage. We had to get the last few things to the trailer. The cleaners were coming. I cleaned the carpets. The landlord did the walkthrough. And ta-da, we don't have a house. Like, oh my God, we don't have a house. But it's been good. And it's been different. And it's been a huge learning curve. And we're almost to a point where I'll give you a walkthrough. There's been too much stuff, and I've been trying to get organized. But I would say in the next, like, day or two, I can, like, give you guys a walkthrough, and you can see what we're living in. But, there's little nooks and crannies, and you get creative, and you figure things out. And honestly, it's now to a point where I went back through the girls' clothes yesterday, and there's a little girl down the way that lives a few a few trailers down, and she's like one size smaller than Katara. So I was able to actually go and take them a big bag of clothes, which I take a lot of joy in being able to pass on clothes and stuff. So I was able to do that, and I have a few more things. And then now it's like I went through my stuff yesterday, and I was like, trash, trash, trash. It's not even worth taking to storage anymore. Like the stuff, it's either trash or it's going in my closet. And like we have these closets that are like narrow and tall-ish and really deep, but they don't. When you hang stuff, it like takes up all the space, and so it doesn't all fit very well. So David came up with this brilliant idea. That he's like, we've just got to roll the clothes. So if you see me and I'm wrinkled, don't judge, because my clothes are rolled, because I can't hang anything. But our clothes are all in. Besides the puke clothes from the episode, which are going to be washed today. There's a laundromat on site. This place is really cool. They have a pool and a hot tub and a laundromat and a workout facility and a business office and I mean, just tons of stuff. And it's really handy, and it's a good like break-in, right? Like you actually still have stuff around that you can use, and we're not like in the wilderness yet. So, our next adventure is that we are taking our maiden voyage. We are packing everything up. I will hopefully give you a tour before we go. And then we are going to Fort Worth this weekend for Father's Day, to see David's dad and kind of say goodbye and let him see the kids. And we are also doing our first festival with our necklaces and so you can all just cross your fingers that it goes really well, and that not just the traveling goes well, that the kids do well, that the dogs do well, and that we just are successful at this festival. What else? Like, oh, we get Thor back from training tomorrow morning. So we'll see how that goes. He has been at boarding school for the last 3 weeks. I got an email and they said that he is doing amazing, and he is very sidetracked by the lake, but they're working on him coming, and that he walks on a leash fairly well now, and that he plays well with other dogs, and that he kennels fine, and he's quit chewing, and he doesn't jump up. And so, like, yay. Yay for hopefully a dog that is, like, just a great dog. He's a beautiful English lab, but he's huge, so he's almost 100 pounds, and he'll be a year at this end of this month. So he's a big boy, and he's most likely not done growing. And so we had to get him in control. So we pick him up tomorrow morning. So we'll post some pictures of that. The kids are really excited. Savannah's here now. We picked her up, and she actually didn't know we just told her we moved. She didn't know what we were doing. So she's been picked up. She's here. She's got her bunk bed and her little spot in her book, and she's been reading from Mice and Men like crazy and helping with the kids. But Thor's her puppy, and so she is super excited to go pick him up. So we will check in tomorrow, and I hope everyone has a great day.